Ah, the aroma of jerky. We can smell it here. We're in Boise City today at No Man's Land Jerky, a brand that is continuing to grow across not only our territory, but even across the country, and I'm sure even probably across the world. I'm here with Britt, representing the family here. We got a lot of family members that are a part of this business here, and we're just talking about the history and also some of the future for No Man's Land. So Britt, thank you for joining us today, and tell us a little bit about just No Man's Land beef jerky and what your business is up to.
How far do you want me to go back? We started at No Man's Land in the back of my mom and dad's grocery store back in 1994, Marvin D's. And made jerky. We didn't realize how it was going to go. We dreamed. Belinda and I would go around and dream, but eventually we moved over to Boise City, got a plant started here, got government inspection in 1997. About 2011 or 12, we had gotten as big as we could get here. And we had, my mom had started a folder of stores that she put on their wannabe and kept it. And there were over 5,000 names of stores in there that wanted to sell our product. And we couldn't grow here because of the population. And so my mom started praying for buyers, and the Lord sent us some buyers in 2014. By 2015, it took a while, but we reached an agreement to be partners. And since then, we have had a plant in Enid that we outgrew. We bought the building across the street, remodeled it, went into it. It was twice as big as the one we had. When we opened that plant, in 3 months it maxed. So we started on the plant back across the street, added on. It will be opening up in March, and so we're excited about that. We're already in the talks of plant number 4. So it's amazing. We give all the credit to God the Mighty. He's the one that got us where we are. That and some hard work, but you know, it's a labor of love, and we're proud of our jerky. We are.
Well, you talked a little bit about your beginnings, and you guys came up with some humble beginnings, almost just some curiosity. You talked about how you had tasted some different jerky and it just wasn't any good, and that's what kind of inspired you to start. Talk about your early days of that and going to selling that stuff wherever you could.
Okay, well, I came back from college, and my degree, I'm having a hard time finding a job in it, so I started farming on the family farm. And we golfed, and me and my brother-in-law and his dad and some others. And so it rained one day, and we went to Guyman golfing, and got through. On the way home, I love beef jerky. I bought 3 different kinds that were terrible. I threw them out the window. I said, I can do better than that. And I didn't know if I could or not, but I thought I could. And so I went home and got my Ronco dehydrator out of the closet and went down to my dad's grocery store and picked out 2 or 3 roasts. And on the 3rd try, we had the recipe we liked and put it in this jar up here, which was an old Wild Bill's jar. And I took a $4 roast and made jerky, made $16. And I thought, boy, there's a lot of room for error there. And so, you know, one thing led to another, and we were putting our jerky in different bars and different convenience stores around, and Belinda and I had a route we'd go to, and we'd make jerky in the back of my dad's store at night, and then we'd go on a route when we got it all bagged and ready to go. And we got caught by the compliance officers because we don't have an inspection bug on our product. So we had to gather it up. Nobody had let us have our jerky back, and so we started to work on this facility here in Boise City. And we got grant of inspection in 1997. Of next month, we will be in business 25 years. And so here in this place, legally. We started in 1994. As Belinda says, we bootleg jerky.
That's right. Well, you know, there's an outlaw history out here in Cimarron County. You know, that Mesa held many a treasure, they say. So you're just filling in where the area was. But that's an incredible, it's just the American dream that you guys have been able to live out here in the Oklahoma Panhandle, especially all the way out here in Cimarron County, and, you know, providing jobs right here in this place too for many families, and helping to make sure that this place can keep the population that it has at least too as well. And so that's a great thing. You talked about earlier the amount of production that you guys are at and where that's growing at, and how it's just growing at an amazing rate. Talk a little bit more about that, where you guys are production wise, how many people you have here, how many people you have in Enid, the amount of the product that you're putting out on a daily basis.
So as far as production, Boise City here produces about 2,000 pounds of raw meat a day, which equates to about 600 pounds of finished product. Enid, on the other hand, does 26,000 pounds of raw per day. And I'd have to figure that up real quick, but it's thousands and thousands of pounds of actual jerky. We employ 30 people here, and we like to consider them as family. Enid employs 200 to 240, somewhere in that number. It's because of the situation in the world today, it changes, but hopefully when we open our other facility across the road, we'll employ another 150 people. So we'll be up to around 400 employees at Enid. So who knew? God did. We dreamed it would grow. We had no idea how large this thing could get. And
well, the operation here, as you mentioned, very family. It's you, Britt, Belinda, your sister.
Right.
Brad, your brother.
Our brother Brad
is also here. Mama D, we can't forget her.
Yep, 87 and a half years old.
Still shows up for work just about every day.
Yes. It's getting later every day, but you know, we give her that. She's worked hard all of her life.
Yeah.
She comes in time for lunch, and then we go eat lunch, and she comes back and answers the phones or calls stores as we need her to.
And another generation coming in as well.
Well, we have two generations.
Yeah.
We have Belinda's daughters both came back and moved their families here from where they had moved to. They want to be a part of the business, and they want their kids to grow up in this area. And then we also have a little boss who's 4, and he's the next generation. His name's Cap, and he thinks he's the boss. He tells us he is. You know, I couldn't do this interview without mentioning my dad. He was pretty skeptical at first, but he ended up being our biggest fan. He would sit at the register and take people's money while he was playing solitaire, and then when the customers come up, he'd take their money, and if they bought a small bag, he'd go, "You're going to get down the road and wish you'd have bought a bigger bag." And he'd be so tickled when they wouldn't even make it to the courthouse down here, and they'd have to turn around and come back, and they'd come in and buy more jerky. So he ended up being one of our biggest fans, and he helped us to remodel this facility. And his vision is like ours. He likes to take things old and make them new again. And so years ago, we bought this steer out front, and we had some high winds, and the wind blew it over, and so we had to take it off out of our front entry. And so when we finally got it fixed and got it back out there, our marketers decided to have a Name the Steer contest. And so they put it on Facebook, and overwhelmingly the people named the steer out there Big Marv. And so if you're ever in Boise City, stop by. You're welcome to jump up on top of his back and take your picture. Post it on our Facebook page, and we'll make you famous. And
well, that's awesome.
It's great. It's so nice to be able to have everybody come here and to work in our business as a family business. And Brene and Bailey came back, Belinda's daughters, and they have made us step up our game. I mean, they're on top of it. They know every part of this business. They know every part of all the plans and the HACCP plans and the stuff dealing with the government, shipping. They're moving us forward with our computer age. We're still kind of stuck back in the day where we wanted that personal contact with our stores, and we still have it, but we're wanting to set up a deal where the stores will prompt them with an email to order, and that way they don't have to stop what they're doing, and they can place their order and email it back into us. And so we can do that. It should, you know, lighten their load where they don't have to drop what they're doing and go get an order, and we don't have to take the time to call them every day and wait for them to go get the order and come back on the phone. They can do it at their leisure, and then we can download it and ship it to them. And we'll still have that personal touch where we call some that there's people who don't deal with computers, and Brad likes to keep that part alive, our brother Brad. And but Brad's also in our sales department as well. He has done a great job with our sales.
Well, and with the plant here, a plant 3 hours away in Enid, business in every state, like some of the things that you're mentioning there that you guys are doing, the fact that PTCI was able to put in fiber optic, gigabit capable speed internet, and the growth plans that you guys have even here, that's got to be vital for you guys.
It is. We're implementing a new plan called We Are Food Safety. And before we can ship product, it has to go through all of our HACCP program. And every part of that has to be met before anything can be signed off to ship. And that could take a day or so. So now we're going to a program where we'll be going live, and we'll have our tablets in here with your high-speed internet that we can scan in our barcodes, scan in all of our log information on. You have to get everything in there, like what kind of gloves, what kind of marination, what kind of spray. Everything has to go in there, all the lot numbers, and then the weights and everything. And so by the time we put the last label on the box, that product can go right out the door. Whereas usually it would take a day or so. And we don't have that problem so much here, but at Enid they do. They get to a point where they don't have the jerky to ship, and they've got to ship it as soon as it gets off the deal. And
wow.
To hold it a day or two is not good. And so that is going to help us immensely by being able to just communicate with the plants down at Enid instantaneously and get everything done and everything approved so that we can ship the jerky out as soon as it's made.
Well, we're glad we could be a part of that, and we're just thankful that you guys, were inspired. The family was inspired to start this business. Just another great American dream story right here in the Panhandle. It's being shipped all over the world. We're seeing people that, in no man's land, what in the world is that? So they're getting to experience a little bit of our part of the world when they open a bag and get a nice waif of that delicious beef jerky. So Britt, we sure appreciate you and your family welcoming us here to do this, and we wish you all the best of luck in your continued growth.
Well, thank you, and we want to thank PTCI for coming out and doing this for us, but also for the service they provide for us. We couldn't do half of what we do without you guys, and we just did a Valentine special, and we blasted out 15,000 emails, and so that's all coming back on our systems through you guys, and it's amazing. So thank you.
And a truckload being mailed out today,
yes,
as
sir.
we saw when we first
yes,
came
sir.
in.
Yep.
So, well, that's it here from Boise City. No Man's Land Jerky. Pick it up any convenience store that you're running into, or maybe make a trek out here to Boise City. Stop in the store, visit with the local folks here, and just enjoy some delicious jerky.